So look, I had the most bizarre sales conversation perhaps ever with a business owner who has a podcast. I think I've had in a long time now. Don't get me wrong. You have some calls. I'm sure you've all been there. We have certain calls with certain people when you're doing sales calls for your coaching program or coaching business that are just super bizarre. But this one was really odd. And the reason why this one was super odd was the fact that this guy, this podcaster, was podcasting for 7 years and was still stuck below 500 monthly downloads. Now, 7 years is a long time to be podcasting for and not see growth. So to me, that's kind of the equivalent of, having a business for, let's say, 7 years and not making your first $5,000 in a single month. Like, there's an actual problem and an issue there. Now, of course, when he told me this, I wasn't like, dude, you suck. Like, this is a big problem. Like, no, of course not. But to be honest with you, the guy was super smart. He was super switched on. He already had a successful business outside of podcasting. So I was just a little bit confused and I guess concerned as to, to be honest with you, like, well, number one, how was he in this spot? But then number two, like, I was curious to know as to why didn't he seek for guidance and help from experts to grow his podcast a lot sooner? And it's great he's doing it now. But mom, I'm like, dude, like, you could have done this like 4 years ago, maybe even freaking like when you first got started, right? So I was a bit confused. And he kind of came out with, man, like, I didn't realize this help existed. I was getting ads for people who wanted to start a podcast. And obviously I've been doing it for 7 years. So it didn't really appeal to me or be like PR agencies. So I didn't really think there was actual help out there. Now, for the most part, right, not going to lie to you, like, that sounds reasonable. But when you dig a bit deeper, it's not. It's actually an excuse. And I had to call him out. And I was like, look, dude, I'm hearing right now is a bit of an excuse because, whilst again, it sounds reasonable, when you really think about it, the internet's such a big place. If you want help, you will get it done. If you want something bad enough, you will get it. Elon Musk is going to bloody Mars. People like Jeff Bezos, who built Amazon from the scratch, from the ground up, and now 90% of people online have made a purchase from Amazon. It's something crazy, right? And I guess like on the other extreme, you have junkies and drug addicts who are supposedly broke and have zero money, but still somehow manage to get their daily fix every single day. Isn't that bizarre? How the hell does that work? But again, it's because humans are exceptionally good at getting what we want. And look, where am I going here? My point is, this guy, this business owner, was in a spot where, again, his content was good. That wasn't the issue. His content was actually really good. The issue was he kind of just gave the excuse that help didn't exist. He just kind of like brushed off because he didn't see it in his ecosystem. But again, if you literally search online, I've got a migraine, just said out loud, I have a migraine, and you open up your phone, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it might be, and you start scrolling, you start getting hit up with a bunch of people telling you how they can solve your migraines. So to me, it wasn't a reasonable response. It didn't make sense to me. It was more of an excuse. And it showed something more concerning, which is he didn't really take that initiative to seek out help, to seek out guidance this entire time. And has gotten to a point where he's kind of hit rock bottom and he's now forced to seek help, So then, of course, I posed a question, which was, hey, look, dude, where do you think you would have been 4 years ago when you noticed the show wasn't really growing? Where do you think you would have been if you just seeked out expert guidance and actually started having a strategy to follow to grow and monetize your podcast? The potential's there, so why didn't you do it? Or where do you think you would be? And it was like, well, I'll probably be a lot further ahead. I'll probably have like a grown audience. I'll probably get invited to other top shows in my niche. I'll probably start getting recognized in the space. And honestly, I felt like I'd just be a bit more proud because I kind of felt like I was giving my podcast less and less energy and had less and less conviction because it doesn't really feel like it's going anywhere. So I think if it's more relatable, my podcast would have changed. And by nature of that, the content would have gotten better. I'd have grew it even more. And I would probably be in a spot where I'm generating a lot more money from the show. And I was like, cool, got it. Makes total sense. I guess, like, what do you feel like you have to do moving forward in order to make sure we don't have a repeat of the last 7 years? And of course, he was like, well, of course, get expert guidance, hence why I'm on the school, right? And in that moment, just such a simple thing of accepting, hey, I do need help in order to hit my goals. I can't keep doing this on my own. The path that I'm currently on, I've seen that path. I don't want to repeat the last 6 months, year, 2 years, 7 years, however long it might be. So why am I sharing this with you? Look, this isn't like me trying to shit on this guy, trying to like complain and moan about his decisions. To be honest with you, I'm sharing this because I've been there. I feel like we've all been there. You've probably been there where like, you know, you're kind of stuck and you've been stuck with a business problem, with a life problem, with a relationship problem. You just have a nagging problem that's slowly in the back of your mind, becoming louder and louder and louder and louder. But we kind of just postpone taking full responsibility of the problem we're going through and just hope that if we just stay working, if we keep moving forward, if we stay consistent, it will just eventually figure itself out. But when the hell has that ever happened? It doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that. I wish it were that easy, but it's not, right? So again, I'm sharing this to kind of remind ourselves that if you do find yourself that you're stuck with your business, stuck in an area of relationship, stuck in an area of your podcast, and I have to remind myself this as well, it's okay to ask for help. Even if you think things are going to turn out okay, like it's okay to ask for help if you're stuck. If you know that that's a way and you asking for help, you investing in help, whatever that might be, if you know that that future is a lot brighter than the one and the path you're currently on. And if you know that if nothing changes, then you're going to have a repeat of the last 6 months. Well, again, it comes down to the question of, well, what do you have to do to take responsibility and ownership of your current situation, understanding that the decisions that you've made up until this point has led you to where you are now, living in that current reality, being aware that, oh shit, the fact that I didn't get help earlier. For example, for me, like I remember a time where I was doing a cold outreach, it's so bizarre, right? I was doing cold outreach, essentially, sending a bunch of emails every single day. And I wasn't getting any responses. But I thought, I'm just going to keep working hard. I'm going to keep working consistent. I'm just going to keep going. I've got to just keep working hard. And then 6 months went by and I was like, dude, I'm working harder and harder and harder every single day, but the results aren't getting better. If anything, they're getting worse. It took me 6 months to realize that. And then I eventually got help. I spoke to a friend who actually, again, it's so bizarre, right? I didn't even have to pay like 5K, 10K into a program. I already had people in my network who I knew could help me out. And I spoke to one of my brother's best friends who has a marketing agency and they do lead gen through cold email. And he just looked at my cold email setup and said, hey, these 3 things are wrong. Fix them right now. I was making some stupid mistakes. Like, for example, I wasn't taking the time before I sent out the emails to just check that the majority of the shows I was pitching were live. I wasn't checking that the business was still in business. And I was just hoping that they were going to get back to me if I just stayed consistent. And it was like, dude, a lot of these aren't live shows. Like 60% of the people you're pitching to don't have live podcasts. They're out of business essentially. So again, I've made those silly mistakes and I've been in those trenches and I've been in those moments where I've been in those places where you kind of make just dumb mistakes, right? But my point is like, if you know that, again, you've been doing this thing for 6 months like I was doing and it's not getting you to the results you want to get to, why not just explore a different path of growth? Why not just ask for help? At the end of the day, my dreams of, building the #1 education company that helps entrepreneurs and experts grow podcasts, that builds their personal brands and attracts dream clients and monetization opportunities to their business. And also, hey, what does that do for me? Well, it means I get more freedom in my life because I'm going to get paid well for it. What else does it mean? It means that I can take care of my family. I can take take my mom on holidays that she might not have been to. I can travel the world freely with my girlfriend. I can feel like I'm successful and I can build something I'm truly proud of that makes an impact on the world. And to me, attaining that success, that's worth way more than a bruised ego. Like just me being worried and embarrassed of asking for help. And I want to relay that message to you. Your success, the success of your podcast, you reaching more listeners, sharing your message, making genuine impact to the lives you could impact, that's worth way more than a bruised ego. So start taking more responsibility of the growth of your show and seek out help and guidance if you do feel stuck. And if you know that if you got that expert guidance and the right strategies in place, 6 months from now, a year from now, 3 years from now, that future is way brighter than the current path you're on. So like I mentioned, I had the most bizarre conversation with a business owner with a podcast, and it just, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to share that message in hopes that helps at least somebody who might be in a spot where they're stuck to know that, hey, getting unstuck can be pretty simple. All it requires is for us to put our egos to the side and simply ask for help. So look, with that being said, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.